game of credits. This is a really bad sign.
Whenever Bravo stood in danger, the Titan would step with fire in his eyes. He'd wade into the sea and smash the enemies.
Unnecessary exposition about a statue.
Don't be afraid. He's announcing our arrival.
I'm not afraid.
Slay Queen. That is a lot of wake behind this boat. For the wake to look like this, the boat would need to be moving faster than it possibly can with its sails angled parallel to the wind. Establishing shots, markets, cooking, excitement. There are so many establishing shots in this opening that you would think this plotline is actually going to matter in the long run. Also, you spent that much time showing a single market, but somehow can't find the time to explore the breakdown of the Bravosi markets and islets that they have in the book?
Please. I crossed the narrow sea. I have nowhere else to go.
You have everywhere else to go.
This scene does a fantastic job of creating fake tension because we all know that if Arya was going to be kept out of the House of Black and White, then the show would not have set up this plotline so much.
Cersei. Walder Frey. The Mountain. Merentrant.
That's it? That's her list? What the fuck? Where's Ilyn Payne? Don't leave my homeboy off your list, bitch. The first 6 minutes of this episode are full of nothing but sitting on some steps, sitting in the rain, and sitting in the sun. In other words, skip. This episode is off to a really rocky start. I mean, how much of a fucking coincidence is it that Littlefinger stopped at the exact same tavern as Podrick and Brienne? Also, why would Littlefinger stop at a tavern? He said last episode that he didn't want Lord Royce to know where he was going, so stopping in public and risking word of his deception reaching the Vale was an uncharacteristically stupid move.
Do you like the taste?
Don't see what all the fuss is about.
Sobriety. Also, why is the most intelligent character in this entire series wasting our time by talking about alcohol with Sansa? This scene, and really the entire plot point, feels totally contrived because Brienne kinda just stumbles across important people. First it was Arya and the Hound, now it's Sansa and Littlefinger.
Why should you have any say in her affairs?
Because I am her uncle. I married her Aunt Lysa shortly before my beloved's untimely death.
The way the writers awkwardly jam this piece of exposition that we already know into his dialogue makes it seem as if they're holding the audience's hand because we're too stupid to keep up.
We're family now, and you are an outsider. Forgive me, Lady Brienne, but experience has made me wary of outsiders.
That's racist.
The roads in these parts aren't safe. Why don't you stay?
Littlefinger could have been way more subtle about arresting Brienne in order to avoid a fight, which is exactly what ends up happening. Don't you just love it when the smartest character in your series turns into an absolute baboon? It's like reverse evolution. In this shot, the horses are hobbled on this post here, parallel to the entrance. In this shot, that post is now perpendicular to the entrance. I knew that characters started teleporting in these later seasons, but I didn't know that inanimate objects did it too. Also, when Brienne cuts the post to free the horses, she never cuts their tethers. So how are the horses free? They're still attached to the post. Stupid shitty chase scene that wastes our time. Brienne is basically watching her entire plotline ride away with the screenwriters. Podrick is basically the Charlie Chaplin of Westeros, minus the Hitler mustache.
Guess that means you're unarmed.
Yeah, but why doesn't he just pick up another one and keep throwing? It can't hurt to at least try. Brienne ex machina. Also, how did the knight not see or hear her coming? He had a clear view down the road, but he just attacked Podrick anyway? This scene refuses to follow the books, in which Brienne's first few kills give her PTSD. That's a way more interesting character development than whatever happens with her in this season. Good thing this horse decided to stop for a smoke break instead of galloping off into the distance, otherwise Podrick would have had to walk.
There are only two like it in the world. The one I'm wearing, the one I gave to Marcella.
Well, that's not true. Joffrey gave one to Sansa, and Tyrion gave one to Shae. Man, screenwriting is so hard. Also, why did the Sand Snakes send a threat to King's Landing in regards to Myrcella? Killing or kidnapping her would have been easier if they hadn't warned the enemy first.
You've never made anything better.
Not even your sex life?
I'll find out. Is there anything else, Your Grace?
This plotline is about as dumb as they come. Instead of sending Jaime to Riverrun now and using Arianne, Ariohota, and Eris Oakheart as viewpoint characters in Dorne, you just decided to ship Jaime off to Dorne with Bronn, because this cocaine ain't gonna snort itself. Book Bronn was way better than show Bronn. In the books, he named Lawless's bastard Tyrion and murdered Sir Balman in single combat, but in the show, he kinda just makes a couple quippy one-liners while doing his best to not be in the same room as Lena Headey. Did it take Jaime, like, a day to get to Castle Stokeworth? Where's his jetpack?
Lawless will be marrying Sir Willis Bracken.
So Bronn can read now? How convenient. Oh good, the Dorne plot. I'm sure the show won't completely fuck this up.
Remove yourself from my path, or I'll take that long axe and I'll shove it.
Poor Ariohota, barely getting any screen time when he was a viewpoint character in the books. Also, does Arianne not even fucking exist in the show? What kind of crack were the writers smoking?
What will you do about his death?
I will bury him. I will mourn for him.
And then?
You would have me go to war.
The whole country would have you go to war.
So the show version of Prince Doran is going to be a little bitch? Wonderful. Anyways, in the books, Doran has been making plans to undermine the throne for years, but that plotline was too complicated for Dumb and Dumber to include. How did Ilaria make it back from King's Landing so quickly? She was there when Oberyn died, but I guess she flew back to Dorne first class? So they're also not gonna imprison the Sand Snakes? Do the books not exist to Dumb and Dumber?
Someone who's forgotten fear has forgotten how to hide.
Cool, but that still doesn't explain how he knew the dude was hiding there. Halloween costumes. This guy has been in 2 episodes now, and I still don't know his name. And we're back to Tyrion, the man whose character doesn't develop in the slightest despite murdering his own father and the love of his life.
Cersei has offered a lordship to the man who brings her your head.
She ought to offer her cunt. Best part of her for the best part of me.
Okay, that line is actually pretty decent. Take a sim back, but don't expect any more.
You're right, no point.
I agree, there really is no point to any of the dialogue post-season 4.
And what do you hope to find at the end of the road to Marine?
I told you, a ruler.
Does Tyrion have dementia? Cause there's no reason he shouldn't remember their conversation from the previous episode.
I find us repulsive.
And I find the screenwriting of this show repulsive, so what's your point?
No matter what we do, people like you and me are never really satisfied inside the box.
It's hard to be satisfied inside a box when you don't have a penis.
You're a good man, Lord Tyrell, but I don't imagine you'll have the time. In addition to being Master of Ships, the King has appointed you Master of Coin.
So there's no Giles Rosby? I'm assuming that also means there's no Harris Swift or Arrayne Waters. That's stupid.
Uncle Kevin, in light of your position as commander of the Lannister armies, it would please the King if you would serve as his Master of War.
And now she's asking Kevin to be the Master of War instead of the Hand? What the flibbity fuck is this show?
My brother has left the capital to lead a sensitive diplomatic mission.
To Riverrun? Oh, wait, you meant Dorne. Shit.
What do you call it in this house? What happened to your face?
This whole conversation is completely pointless. In other words, skip.
What do you call it in this house? What happened to your face?
Grayscale. What do you call it north of the wall?
I don't know. But 2 of my sisters had it. They both died.
Your sisters had it, but you didn't have a word for it? What the fuck?
They acted like animals. My father had to drag them out to the woods on a rope.
What did you do with them in the woods?
What a pathetic attempt at subtlety.
You prevented that order from being carried out.
Maybe because he knew that the book version of this plotline was way better?
Kneel before me. Lay your sword at my feet. Pledge me your service and you'll rise again as Jon Stark, Lord of Winterfell.
This scene is actually pretty damn good, with Jon being offered what he's always wanted and refusing it for his honor. In the books, the voting is more complicated than simply one candidate having more votes than the others. One candidate has to have 2/3 of the votes to win, but the show kinda just fucks off without that rule.
Sir Dennis Mallister joined the Watch as a boy, and has served loyally longer than any other ranger.
It's great to have this exposition because we don't know who the fuck this character even is.
I found him there after the battle was over, in a puddle of his own making.
I'd expect pee jokes like this in a Disney movie, not in Game of fucking Thrones. The Brothers of the Night's Watch just decide to vote for Jon instead of their previous candidates without their candidates even withdrawing, which is stupid. In the book, Sam had to convince Cotter Pike and Dennis Mallister to withdraw from the running and support Jon, which made so much more sense.
Appears to be a tie, Master.
It appears to be a tie? So you're not even going to count? Well, that seems like the most accurate way to do this. Fucking eyeballing it. Arya is a dick to birds.
Quickly, go!
This guy ex machina. Also, why didn't this guy let Arya into the House of Black and White earlier if he's just gonna let her in now? What was the point of making her wait? Stupid screenwriting is stupid. This face-swapping tech is never really explained properly, and the rules seem to change a bunch throughout the series. Shouldn't there be guards in the dungeon protecting this dude? How can they do this? Skip.
She should have cut off the traitor's head in the Great Pyramid and been done with it.
Hisdar Zolorak would be excellent at discount TVSins. Good thing we never gave a shit about this character, otherwise it might have felt like the plot actually had stakes. Oh, and by the way, I still don't know his name.
This is my own private domicile and I will not be harassed! Bitch!
This woman swore to protect Renly. She failed. She swore to protect your mother. She failed.
Failure.
Jamie fucking Lannister.
That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.